What's up, guys? Here with you with FC Wonderkid, episode 72. Here with my guy, Breton. How are you?
Well, we survived the Premier League lack of fixtures this weekend, and I understand why it was done. But we have a large slate that we still have to go over because back on Tuesday, was the Champions League, and since then it's been all football all the time. But first, I got to ask you. You're doing okay?
Yeah.
Everything's good?
Everything's good around here in Portugal. And I've got to say, Portuguese teams are going bold in the Champions League. And that's my exact first shout out in this podcast. But my second is, everybody, please like this video and subscribe to FC Wonderkid on YouTube because that is a huge help for us at FC Wonderkid. But we have to start with what happened right on Tuesday. That was Todd Boehly decided to go bold and do the unpredictable. I wasn't expecting Thomas Tuchel to get sacked, and I definitely do not agree with the timing of the sacking. Thomas Tuchel deserves more respect in my opinion, and I think this sacking was inevitable from the start. Todd Boehly, Tuchel, he wasn't his manager because he didn't play Christian Pulisic. He can't be Todd Boehly's manager without playing Pulisic. And he even signed the best young U.S. keeper. So I'm sure he does want an American fingerprint at Chelsea with Pulisic and Gaga Slonina in the future.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you starting everything off with a whole bunch of an American kind of vibe to it, but Christian Pulisic, it's become clear that communication had broken down.
Yes.
That came from Greg Berhalter, it came from Christian himself. But listen, when it comes down to it, it's obviously much more than that too. Whether it's Aubameyang coming in over who Tuchel, over who Boehly wanted over Cristiano Ronaldo. Or it's the fact that you have the man or let the man have $250 million in the spending spree and ultimately sack him after I wouldn't say it was an embarrassment at the hands of Dinamo Zagreb. They deserve a whole lot of credit for how they played, but it just doesn't line up. And when it comes down to it, I think you're right. I think you're 100% right. I think this was already in the works previous to the Dinamo loss. And the Dinamo loss just kind of pushed that timetable up to where they said, okay, he's got to go. We got to bring in who they want because Thomas Tuchel has looked miserable. Absolutely miserable over the last, I don't know how many months. And he does this all the time. It's like the kid, he deserves a lot of respect, but it feels almost like, the kid that doesn't get everything he wants, right? Well, and everything needs to go a certain way. And when it comes down to it, we can call him Champions League this, we can call him whatever, but he only lasted about 100 days more than Frank Lampard did.
I think it was 17 days.
Okay, so it wasn't even 100 days. My math is off.
Trust.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's just unreal to me. But I'm gonna be 100% straightforward with you. Okay, I honestly thought Todd Boehly would go for somebody flashier.
Zidane.
I thought Zidane was in his future. Even Poch, bringing him in wouldn't have surprised me when it comes down to it. But I'm going to say it right now. I am not a fan. I am not a fan of Graham Potter becoming the Chelsea boss. And it's not because I don't believe Graham Potter is capable. It's simply because I loved so much what he was doing for Brighton Hove and Albion. And to be honest, anyone that is saying that he had hit his ceiling with Brighton, that is complete and utter bollocks. That is bullcrap. Bullcrap to a T.
If they handle the recruitments, I agree with that. Yeah. Because if Graham Potter is the mastermind of the development that we see on the pitch and of the recruitment off the pitch, getting players like Cucurella, Caicedo right there, Trossard so good in the Prem, all right decisions, man. Chelsea did, in my opinion, not the best decision, but a great decision. I was surprised, being honest. Todd Boehly, by getting Graham Potter, he's saying, I am thinking here in the long run of this project. I want a successful, and I want to see a growth from academy players too, because I think Graham Potter is going to look a lot inside Chelsea's team, okay? And two variables, you mentioned it fast, but I want to say I really do believe it was Pulisic not playing that got Tuchel out, or not playing the right way, and getting Aubameyang instead of Cristiano Ronaldo this summer. I do think Todd Boehly was very, very keen on getting Ronaldo, and he's still on the market. So I believe that was a factor to be taken into account. And the pressure, the constant pressure of results, okay, that Tuchel had. So and Kai Havertz mustn't be happy about this move. So I'm dying to see how Kai Havertz is going to play with Graham Potter. And who isn't definitely happy about this move is Billy Gilmour, that arrives at Brighton. Very excited to play in the style of play of Graham Potter. But now Graham Potter goes to Chelsea. So it's not the best time to be Billy Gilmour, I'd say.
No, it's not. It's also, I just feel for Brighton fans. Just that to have, it feels like you just had the carpet yanked out from under you. You've lost your head coach. You've lost your assistant head coach. You've lost a couple first team coaches. You've lost your head of recruitment. You've lost your technical director. You've lost like 3 of your best flippin' players. And all in the last 6 to 7 months. And it feels like the life force was just pulled out of you. Graham Potter is not your typical run-of-the-mill, like, I shadowed the best, most legendary boss for years at a time, like Mikel Arteta with Pep Guardiola.
Or Mourinho translator.
He literally, exactly, he bootstrapped himself, essentially, to this particular job. So all credit to the paycheck he's going to get, all credit to likely what might be the autonomy he's going to get that he already had, and definitely the biggest stage. I mean, if you want professional advancement, no qualms with that. But when it comes down to it, Graham Potter went from 7 years or so in the Östersunds, in the Allsvenskan, in Sweden. He brought them to Europe. Then he went to Swansea, and then he took over Brighton. I think he took Swansea to the quarterfinals of an FA Cup or something. And then he went to Brighton and he built this club. He built the heartbeat of this club. And he took over for Chris Hughton back in the day. And now it's this new chapter. And you look at those 3 moves and you say, you've got like a 35% win record, okay, with Brighton. You're doing wonders with limited resources. But now it's kind of like, now you jumpstart yourself all the way to egos. Big money signings, big money expectations. Literally never, I mean, he's never going to have a meal by himself ever again, right?
True.
I just think it's a big jump. But now that he's there, I'm going to say it. I'm behind him. I want Graham Potter to do well. I want to see this work out because this surprises me, as you mentioned previously. Todd Boehly appointing Potter says long-term.
Yes.
Long-term, I want to build from within, and I want to build a club with a clear playing style that people can get behind. So I'm with it.
And playing, and the players too that came in the transfer window this summer make sense in this style of play with Graham Potter, with wing backs and center backs being prevailed, and Cucurella. He must be hyped up, and I am sure a player like Moises Caicedo might go to Chelsea in the near future. I really believe that is going to happen. So Chelsea, yes, they're going to spend big, but I have to say this. It can't be Todd Boehly and Graham Potter, just them two. Chelsea need a sporting director next to them making those decisions outside the pitch, because there's a lot of potential inside the club, and there's a lot of resources they can get any player outside the club. So let's wait and see. And to convince, let's say, a Neymar that can't stop scoring in every game and looks so damn good this season, they have to have the right team for a player like Neymar. And a sporting director, and, well, imagine a successful aura with Graham Potter. You never know.
I I'm just saying, like, we're now going from Graham Potter plucking Moises Caicedo out of obscurity to literally talking about Graham Potter potentially managing Neymar, of all things. It is just this massive leap that I hope he can overcome.
Yes.
But I do have to say, like, right after this podcast is done, if I had a beer in my hand right now, I would toast to what was at Brighton. I would toast to what Potter did at Brighton, and I would then effectively pour one out for all the Brighton fans that don't know what the heck is going to happen next.
Anticipation. Anticipation. And then you see teams like Leeds getting better, Wolves getting better, and the hero of your club leaves. And it's the top 6 club that, for Graham Potter, I think he totally deserves this chance. Yeah. And I'm very excited to see what's going to happen. A bit selfish of my part that I think Tuchel leaving and Potter happening is a good thing because I'm just so curious about it. But people, tell us in the comment section down below, what is your predictions for what is happening at Chelsea and what will Graham Potter, the magician now at Chelsea, do at the club, okay? Because, yeah, those Graham Potter references, Harry Potter references. Oh, man.
Yeah,
but Dinamo, shout out to Dinamo to make all this happen, okay? And they started, okay, this avalanche. And, yeah, Orsic, man, that speed, bags of speed. How is Orsic still at Dinamo? That's the talk. That's the talk.
I don't know, but he is the one that when we were doing our predictions, he's the one I told you to watch out for. Fuck. And man,
yes, you did.
He made Wesley Fofana look silly. Yes. I have not seen Wesley Fofana look simultaneously or concurrently weak and slow at the same time. I thought he was going to re-tear his ACL in that pursuit of Orsic, but Orsic's finish was beautiful. You know, and I also think you have to watch out at Dinamo for Martin Baturina, 18, 19 years old, beautiful player coming up, playmaker. I honestly believe that Dinamo deserves more credit for that win over Chelsea than what they're getting. So we do need to, before we move on from this fixture, to say, well done, Dinamo. Now you've got to do it 5 more times.
Man, it's and they have a hard group, in my opinion, with Red Bull Salzburg, AC Milan, Dinamo, and Chelsea. So any game of this group is exciting to watch because we had a draw, okay, in Salzburg between Milan and Red Bull, and Rafael João managed to get that assist. But you said, like, dismantle, destroy, and in my head I was thinking, is he talking about Joe Gomez with Kvaradona? Because Kvaradona cannot stop destroying defenders since he's arrived at Napoli. And nobody's talking about Insigne anymore. And understandably so with Kvaradona, the player that won the he won the Player of the Month award in Serie A this August. Kvaradona with 4 games, 3 goals, and 1 assist. 1 goal involvement per game. The impact, insane.
I had my hand over my eyes during that game. I felt, I mean, he just made Joe Gomez look inconsequential. And at the same time, I don't know what Trent Alexander-Arnold was doing on that one play either. But when it comes down to it, they made Liverpool look silly. Napoli looked like a team that wants the Scudetto and looked like a team that wants out of this group and wants to, you know, maybe show that they could be the Serie A club that goes the furthest in the Champions League. And Kvaradona should have had himself a goal. He should have had himself a goal. Yeah, it is a statement. But I believe, I mean, Spalletti's got them doing some good things. They look solid. I don't know how you can necessarily bet against it right now. I mean, they made Klopp look terrible. Klopp had no plans for whatever was happening to them on that pitch. And I have to ask you flat out before we get any further into this fixture, we have watched Tuchel go. We have watched Domenico Tedesco go, okay? What would it take for Jurgen Klopp to see the same type of fate?
To get midfielders this January and for it to go horribly wrong still. If Liverpool reinforce in January with proper midfielders and they're still in a bad situation, I think that's club out. If that happens. Because, yes, that's what I got to point at. How is Milner at 35 the starter? How? And the downfall of Liverpool is with the midfield if it happens. Because you have an aging Jordan Henderson. You have an injury-prone world-class player, true, Thiago Alcantara. Injury-prone great player, Naby Keita. And you have future talents, Fabio Carvalho and Harvey Elliott, that I believe in their future, but you need results right now. And Artur Mel ain't that guy. He ain't the guy. He just does the passes to the fullbacks, but you need those passes to the strikers and wingers. And I gotta say, talking Liverpool, I am surely expecting to see a different Mo Salah, because he's gotten that contract extension that he was begging all these years, and I have to see a different Virgil van Dijk. What is happening to Virgil van Dijk? Alisson has to save him all the time, and Trent too. Trent has great moments going forward, but sorted out at the back, and with Van Dijk, man, with Van Dijk, because I don't know what's happening with Virgil van Dijk. That's my biggest wow. Okay, Kvisha, we were all expecting a great match from him. Okay, not maybe at those levels, but Virgil van Dijk, we have those expectations with you. So,
Absolutely, but it just makes this week more mouth-watering for me. You've got Ajax at Anfield.
True.
Ajax never looked bothered versus Rangers. You have Calvin Bassey endearing everyone to him, showing emotion at the sheer sound of the Champions League anthem.
What a player.
And he has been lights out since he was inserted into that 11, okay? Every worry that I had where this Rangers player built his personality, built his skill set at Rangers, taking it to Ajax, stepping it up a level. He has been wonderful so far in the Champions League, one game, and qualifying. But also in the Eredivisie, Calvin Bassey, man, showing there's a lot of emotion. I'm going to get to Richarlison later. But Calvin Bassey literally almost breaking down listening to that Champions League anthem was so just endearing to me and makes me almost want Ajax to beat up on Liverpool at Anfield just to shake up the world, right? Shake up the footballing world a little bit. If Napoli beating the Reds 4-1 or whatever it wasn't big enough, Ajax continuing their 6 wins in a row or whatever the heck it is with a new manager, losing most of their big players. They don't even remember who Anthony was, frankly. Okay? That's how good they played against Rangers. So I am most looking forward to that Ajax versus Liverpool, because Liverpool's going to want to make a statement, and they damn well should. And Ajax is going to want to continue their good times rolling. And right now, I don't see them getting steamrolled, even at Anfield. But it's a fun group.
Ajax is a team built for Champions League, and whoever goes against them has a tough time in recent history. And I definitely think Liverpool, that is one of the worst teams that they can get next week, and they're getting him in Anfield. But I'm very excited to see that matchup. But people, tell us your prediction of that Liverpool-Ajax game down below. I want to see some comments on that. And I want to give a shout out to another player mentioning Kvisha. I want to mention Mudryk too, because Kvisha and Mudryk, if they were English, I am absolutely sure the price tag would not be talked minimal 50 million. Minimal 50 million if Anthony Gordon is valued at 60. Mudryk and Kvisha are so much, in my opinion, are better players. Much better players, in my opinion. And Mudryk is showing just that. He's going to be the best Ukrainian player in the world. Mudryk. So you might as well get him, because he's got skill, he's electric pace, and he makes the right calls at the right time. So I really like this player. Really
I want to say, Zinchenko would like to have a word, and Mikolenko, but ultimately, okay. Malinovsky, he's been pretty good at times.
Mudryk
but
can be the
ultimately,
best.
yes. Mudryk can be the best. You're absolutely right, and that speed is actually, I don't know how you can underrate his pace. but his pace is incredibly underrated. He's probably one of the faster ones in the Champions League group stages.
Agreed.
And I just let's take a step back, right? We went straight to Mudryk, who before this game, ending another Champions League manager's life, if you will, or career, if you will. Domenico Tedesco, Shakhtar. We need to just take that step back. Remember what's going on in Mudryk's home country, okay, and in Shakhtar's home country. And then we need to take that step back and look exactly at what they engineered against RB Leipzig, okay? Mudryk was at the heart of it, but so were a bunch of young academy boys that literally were probably not going to be a part of the 11 if it weren't for that massive exodus, rightfully so, because you want your families and yourselves to feel safe when you're doing your job. But if it weren't for that mass exodus, half of that squad that was out there for Shakhtar Donetsk would not have been there. And they played, it gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. They did their country proud.
Fuck.
I mean, ultimately. And I heard it said, maybe it was on Twitter, I forget exactly who said it. But before this craziness that's going on over there, it was Shakhtar Donetsk versus Dinamo Kiev. Right? You hated each other. You didn't want to see each other, do a lick of good, even if it was in the Champions League, even if it was in the Europa League. And now every Ukrainian team is exactly that. They're a Ukrainian team. They want their team, doesn't matter if they're from Kiev or Donetsk, they want them to do well. And you saw Dinamo fans clapping the Shakhtar Donetsk massive win over RB Leipzig. And Mudryk was at the heart of it, man. And if Mudryk before this was wanted by Everton, by Bayer Leverkusen, by Arsenal, and they could have gotten him for 15 million, no more.
No more.
No more.
Fuck.
No more.
Zinchenko was like, please, Edu, get this done. But now it can't be 15. It's got to be at least 30 million. At least at the bare minimum. If Mudryk has an agent that knows how to do some things, 30 million is the minimal to get a player like him in today's market, in my opinion. So yeah, put down below, people, your shouts for the Champions League. These wonder kids like wingers, Kvisha, Mudryk. Who did you see that we should mention in the same light, okay, of getting that attention at winger?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yes, you mentioned Leipzig, so Dominic Tedesco out, Marco Rose in, okay? And he went bold against Dortmund. 3-0, okay? Leipzig beat Dortmund, and that was surprising. And I want to see them in the Champions League with the same energy, because if they keep Gvardiol, they have Nkunku, they have Leimer. I got here. David Rom, they went to get Dominic Szoboszlai, Dani Olmo. A lot of players, bold players that have to perform in the Champions League level. So they have to get that right.
I just don't know what was the tenor of that midweek fiasco versus Shakhtar, but it certainly it was summed up by Goulashi's terrible mistake, right? For Leipzig. And then at the end of the week, you fire your boss, and before you know it, everyone gets a fire in their belly and they destroy. I mean, Dortmund didn't even really look in the game, okay?
True.
Leipzig completely outplayed them. And sure enough, I guess once again, we can, even with 3 draws in a row, we could probably crown Bayern the top of the Bundesliga once again. Because, dude, they're going to eat each other alive.
I agree. I agree. And Kimmich
just
is looking way too good. I agree. Kimmich, for me, definitely the best player in the Bundesliga, 100%. But I do think this Leipzig win, I don't know. They're 4 points away, okay? And Dortmund has the same points as Bayern. I think the title race is still open, but psychologically, I agree. Bayern can definitely go bold and get those wins non-stop. And I was surprised, man. Bayern have a wonderkid. Mathys became the youngest ever goal scorer in the Bundesliga, okay? 17-year-old, 2005, man. How old am I? And Brazu even said, he's world-class with some certain abilities that he has. Not a lot of people can do what he does. So that just translates. And will he do it against Barca next week? Barca Bayern. Will Mathys go bold like Gavi? see that.
It is going to be amazing. It is going to be fun. It is going to be whatever you want to call it. But I am here for it because Bayern dispatched Inter midweek and then had a little bit of trouble with a 17-year-old Mathys in the 11, getting rid of what I think it was Frankfurt. But Barcelona had no problem kicking the crap of that Czech club, Victoria Pilsen. No disrespect to them. No, and then they did the exact same thing to Cadiz.
Yep.
Cadiz.
Well, first half looked iffy. Second, they destroyed.
Iffy, right.
Destroyed. Absolutely.
If you want to talk about a early Champions League game with all the narrative to it that you want, it is that one right there. That's the one on, I think, is it Wednesday or Tuesday?
I'm not sure, but yeah, it's next week. And there's another thing I want to say with Mathys too. Like, Brazu, the sporting director of Bayern, said this about Mathys. He's the best talent in Europe in his position, okay? Striker, a 2005 board striker, one of the best in his position. That is very bold words, and he got him for 20 million plus 8 in variables at 17. So Bayern Munich is doing an all-in with this youngster for the future, and great signs. Great signs.
Yeah, I mean, that is one where they did the eye test because they certainly didn't have a large sample size on Mathys in terms of professional minutes for them to pool off of. But they took a massive gamble. I guess 25 up to 32 million is not that massive of a gamble, but for Bayern it kind of is on it, and so far it's paying off. But I don't know. I mean, well, I just have to get an early understanding of what do you think is going to happen? Is it going to be Bayern, or is it going to be Barca, or is it going to be a nice high-scoring tie?
I think Barca is going to end up first in the group, but in the Allianz, if Barca managed to get a draw, I think that's a win. Definitely psychologically. But in Camp Nou, at the 26th of October, I think Barca are going to beat Bayern Munich. And the main reason I believe that is because of Lewandowski. Lewandowski has 6 games, 9 goals, and 2 assists in his start at Barcelona. And he just fits the bill so well with Xavi. And Ousmane Dembele isn't stopping just now. And he is going to be a much better player by the time we get to December with World Cup football too. I really believe Dembele wants to be in the discussion with the best in the world. And Dembele is in the discussion with the best in the world in assists. Because this year, in 2022, the top in assists in Europe are Lionel Messi with 19, De Bruyne with 17, and Dembele with 15. So top 3 in assists. That is bold. Next to the best.
Can you just imagine this front line less than 3 months from now? Just imagine this front line. Kylian Mbappe, Karim Benzema, and Ousmane Dembele.
And then Nkunku. To come.
But I mean, that 3, dude, if that does not exercise the curse, right, of defending champions in the World Cup, then I quit football. I don't understand.
No. The curse can be real.
I'll never quit football. The curse can be real, but they need to just get rid of that. That is just too much talent. Now, what could change? Ousmane Dembele gets injured, right? We don't want that. Benzema is injured. Benzema is injured right now.
True.
And I do have to say, I don't mean to segue right away from Barcelona because contrary to popular belief, I do like Barcelona. But when it comes down to it, listen, Real Madrid also, with Karim Benzema walking off in the 30th minute versus a Celtic team that was very tough for that first half.
True.
Very tough for that first half. Real Madrid, their young boys got it done, okay? Vinicius is a man on a mission. He's got 5 goals, 1 assist in his last 5 games. Rodrigo, it took him until April of last season to get 4 goal involvements. He's already got 4 in, I believe, his last 2 games, right? Maybe not that many, but he's already got 4 in just like 3 or 4 games. Yeah, he is growing up in front of our eyes. And I'm going to tell you something. They did it again on the weekend. They were down 1-0 to Mallorca, and they came back and they won 4-1 with a Fede Valverde golazo. Beautiful, beautiful. So I just have to say, it is great to see the one biggest worry that everyone had so far, and it's early days with this injury with Benzema, is that would the young boys step up? And so far, so good.
I agree.
But they got stiffer tests ahead.
And we're talking here about Real Madrid, and they managed to get a player like we mentioned, Fede Valverde. What a golazo it was for 5 million. That is one of the biggest bargains in today's football, okay? And it's at Real Madrid. So you can be the best and still manage to do great deals. See that, Man United? Yeah. Just wanted to give a jab right there, okay? And they have, okay? I often mention, but you too, Pedri, Gavi, all the future of Pablo Torre, shout out to him at Barca. But it's very hard to beat a future midfield with Fede, Camavinga, and Tchouaméni that is making everyone forget about Casemiro, because Tchouaméni is the most in tackles, most interceptions, most in pass accuracy. He's the new engine at Real Madrid. So that is very exciting. But on the Barca end, I just want to say this too. Fati, this is the season, please, man. 5 games, 4 goals and assists. Come on, it's only the start. And what a super sub you can have with Fati if he's in form. Or Rafinha. Like, put the one that's playing the best. Like, Barca is stacked. Sure. And I want to say one more position that was one of my biggest worries for Barca, but not anymore. It's the left back, okay? Baldé, man, has arrived to the scene. And Baldé, in my opinion, should start, okay, ahead of Jordi Alba and ahead of the new signing, Marcos Alonso. I do think Marcos Alonso will be very good for Barca, yes, but keep playing the youngster of Baldé because the mistakes aren't there and he is improving game by game. He can be one of the first signature talents with Xavi. Gavi, Pedri, Baldé. 3 players, okay, that we can say, oh yeah, there's a fingerprint, a Barca youth fingerprint right there. Pedri Las Palmas Academy, but still, he developed with Messi next to him.
Yeah, but I do have to say, it's heartwarming to see that Xavi finally returned one of your phone calls, right? And said, you're right, I shouldn't play Pedri and Gavi together. You're right. I shouldn't play them together.
Man,
I should. I'm kidding. I'm joking around.
We didn't have that phone call. We didn't have that phone call.
You did have that phone call. I thought so. You were supposed to phone me in, right? But no, I wasn't called. No. But listen, I mean, absolutely. Both of these La Liga squads, both of these giants, okay, they look hungry. Yeah. They look hungry. They look like they're on a mission. Am I close enough to calling Barcelona, a Champions League favorite? No.
Oh, come on, man. No.
But I'm getting there. The early season returns are phenomenal. I'm going to tell you that much. And it is great to see. But I am to continue to talk because to do the dichotomy here. Yeah, but to do the dichotomy here, Real Madrid as well. They have entered into new territory now. Okay, they've entered into new territory now because it seems like they're not going to try and rush Benzema back. Okay, Benzema does have a history of hamstring injuries. This doesn't seem like one that's going to keep him out too long. Hell, he might even be back like next weekend. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, this is exactly what every Real Madrid fan feared at the beginning of the season, and it was, do we have depth behind Benzema? And the answer very clearly is still no. Well, but you have enough talents elsewhere where Ancelotti, when asked whether or not Eden Hazard could do the job, he said, I don't need Eden Hazard to score. I just need Eden Hazard to be a good positive force for the attacking team. And he has shown that. He hasn't been lights out, but he has essentially allowed for Vinicius to get in dangerous positions, for Rodrigo to get in dangerous positions, for Valverde to get space, for Tchouaméni and Camavinga to do their things, okay? So I don't know. It's still a small sample size, but the longer Benzema's out, I'm excited to see what Real Madrid can do without him.
Like I'll be honest about you with Hazard. Like I'm a bit, not gonna say angry about the situation, because Hazard at Chelsea, well, I have one of the best memories playing, man. The eloquence, the dribbling, the sheer will he had at Chelsea to be the best in the world. I could see it. People could see it. And at Real Madrid, that glimpse, you don't have it anymore. And what I gotta say is, I think he knows his role now. And I think he's accepted his role at Real Madrid. That's what I can see. And with Celtic, that game, he wasn't the best. But he was important for Real Madrid to clinch the win against Celtic. So as long as he knows his role, I think he's going to be successful in his time at Real Madrid. Like, if they manage to get another Champions League, good job, Hazard, being involved in that happening. Or getting that La Liga title ahead of such a big force of Barcelona. But shout out to Atlético too. Atlético's been playing good football, and man, that game against Porto, I still have a bit of I'm a bit mad, man, with the end of that game. Like 3 goals after in the extra time. Like oh man, Porto and Atlético play the same style of play too, man. So that game was that was tough, man. That was tough.
And I just love it. I just love it. Like Antoine Griezmann knowing he's not going to play the first 60 minutes because he's sitting there probably playing Champions League, or I'm sorry, probably playing Football Manager on the sideline. Oh, it's the 59th minute. I should warm up. I'm going to go in at 61st, the 62nd, the 63rd. And for those of you that don't know, there's a reason behind Antoine Griezmann's super sub, and it's because if he plays more than half the minutes, they have to pay $40 million for potentially, what is he, 31 now? 32, something like that. So Barcelona has to pay $40 million.
No,
Atletico. I'm sorry.
Atletico
has to pay $40 million, and they want to do everything they can not to pay $40 million for a 30-year-old that probably wants to play Football Manager more. And by the way, if you haven't caught up with the news, Barcelona is likely, if they haven't already, doing Atletico Madrid for their how they're construing this, how they are interpreting this particular clause that was in this deal. So you can get your popcorn if you want a little Barcelona Atletico Madrid litigation drama.
All the lawyers like with popcorn, like what? Oh my dude.
Unreal. But Atletico does look good, and they look good over the weekend as well in La Liga. So maybe I was wrong. I don't know. I thought it was going to be a very, very tough season ahead.
I think what saved was they got 3 great signings. I think Reguilon at left, great. Molina right back, and Witsel. I got to give a shout out to Witsel at Atletico Madrid. Center back role. One of the best players right now in Atletico Madrid in this Simeone new style of play. And João Félix, man. He's looking ready, and every time he's involved, I know he comes off the bench sometimes like yesterday, but João Félix, I believe, he's going to be very important wherever he is because the style of play, he's going to be in it.
You know, João Félix is also getting very bold out there with his quotes. One quote that I know hit the American airwaves is that he believes that kind of man for man, Portugal is better than Brazil. And I love this stuff. First off, João Félix saying it is different. I feel like Cristiano Ronaldo probably has the panache to be able to say something like that. Kind of goad Neymar on, goad Antony, goad Richarlison on, and get them heated up for the World Cup or something. João Félix, I like the confidence because it seems like a departure. Like, it's not very normal for him to throw something as
I like him a lot out there. He's got a personality in him, and he's got a fierceless. He's fearless, man. He came from Viseu to Lisbon, living on his own, man. Big up on him, and I can see that. I can see that edge he has mental wise, and I'm not gonna say I completely agree, but 11 for 11, Brazil, Portugal in the World Cup. I'm going to be backing Portugal, same percent, 100%, with João Félix, baby, starting. But at fullbacks, we definitely win with Donetsk and Cancel, okay? I think there's no disagreements with that. But I would love to see that matchup that can happen if both teams I think, end up first in their groups. That I have to believe, man. Uruguay's going to be tough. And Serbia can be tough for you guys. Brazil, too. Want to shout out, though.
Yeah.
Shout that out. But, yes, we're mentioning Real. We're mentioning Barca. All these big boy teams. And I mentioned Messi fast. And I got to say PSG. Champions League. This is the season, okay? I know it's always this is the season. But now, Galtier Ball with PSG, Messi having more assists than he's ever had. Like, the style of play, it fits it. And the wingbacks at PSG are used in excellent manner with Hakimi and Núñez at 3 center backs at the back. The biggest difference of PSG last season to now is Vitinha. Vitinha with Verratti in midfield gives intent to the attack and allows Mbappe and Neymar not to come back all the time. Mbappe and Neymar to come back all the time, and Messi too, to get the ball. You have Vitinha just glue it and getting the ball to them. So Luis Campos, masterclass.
Yeah, and it's just getting started. It really is. Galtier is just getting started there, and I can only see him getting better and better. But I just have to throw this out there. I know you've talked unapologetically with respect about Neymar, like the last 2 or 3 podcasts. I'm now on, okay? I'm on board after literally watching what he did midweek versus also watching what he did over the weekend. This man is having fun. And I had said it previously that it never seemed to me that PSG with Neymar, like he was going to have fun playing club ball again. And then you have the Kylian Mbappe. Oh, do they like each other? Can they play with each other? Like, who cares? Neymar, since the beginning of 2022, has scored 24 goals in 24 games. He also has chipped in 12 assists. He also, this season, already has 10 goals and 7 assists in like 8 or 9 games. Okay? League One, whatever aside, this man is having fun. And he's doing it. The assists, the everything is just beautiful. And I get it. He's having fun at the right time. Okay? And a lot of people say maybe he looks like at a World Cup year, like almost like a contract year in that sense that he's got to be balling out 2.5 months before the flipping World Cup starts in Qatar. But it just kind of comes down to the fact that, and I wonder if this pressure, maybe, but I wonder if this pressure is going to catch up to him because we have something called the proximity effect, and the closer you get to something. Right? The closer you get to something, the more of a weight you feel on your shoulders. And right now, I don't think he's close enough. Right? Because that Champions League knockout round, that ain't for another 6+ months. That World Cup, that World Cup, that's right around the corner. I think this it's going to come down to whether or not Neymar plays this free thinking, this exciting, this like I'm just having fun in the streets type of situation. If he's playing like this in the World Cup, Brazil's going to be pretty damn unstoppable.
But if Brazil wins the World Cup, Champions League 2, Neymar gets the Ballon d'Or 100%. If Argentina wins the World Cup and PSG get the champions, Messi gets the Ballon d'Or. But if Mbappe gets the World Cup again, elite levels at 23, and the champions, he gets the Ballon d'Or. So there's a Ballon d'Or race in PSG. These are elite levels, and I giving a lot of love to Neymar, but I gotta give love to Messi too. Okay, Messi has 373 assists registered in transfer market the last time I went to see. And 300 assists. That is an elite playmaker in the history books. And this season, Lionel Messi has 3 goals and 7 assists in Ligue 1. He's just getting started. And by December, I am sure his numbers will be better than last season's full season numbers at PSG. And it's because of the World Cup, because it's such a big variable in so short time. In December, they know they can get the Ballon d'Or sorted because this one is the Benzema. So that is done, settled, and yeah, we gotta see, man. And Neymar became the fourth to all-time goal scoring, top goal scorer at PSG with he's the fourth. He's the fourth. I'm not sure with the number because I got Ibra with third with 156. Mbappe 180 in second, like insane, and Cavani with 200. So Cavani leading all-time goal scorer in PSG history. Like Neymar surpassed Pauleta.
Yeah, I was gonna say, where's Pauleta? Wow,
man,
I didn't know he got dropped. Yeah, I didn't know he got dropped that far. He was the PSG star previous to this implosion of money.
Shout out to Ronaldinho, future.
Yeah, future. Nah, but nothing changes this. Nothing changes this. A Champions League or bust for PSG, and frankly, I think this is a one-season thing. Okay,
I agree.
Having them fully together, I think the band will get broken up if PSG does not get it done. Do I still think Gaultier is probably going to be the boss, even if they don't get it done? I actually do. I do believe he stays there. Yeah.
I think so too. Luis Campos will trust him. Luis Campos will back him. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I honestly believe, like, as Neymar gets closer, nobody cares. Even though we just talked about it, nobody cares that Neymar's got 17 goal involvements to start the year for the most part.
They should. Right? They should.
But all that matters is what he does against Manchester City in the semifinal. Ooh, right? True. All that matters is what he does in the final versus, oh crap, if it's not Manchester City, who the hell is it? I don't know. I'm making stuff up as I go along. You get the point.
Real Madrid! They has to beat Real Madrid with that PSG team with Lionel Messi, man. Neymar was expected to do more, especially if he was at Barca. They would be expecting him to destroy Real Madrid. So at PSG, more resources too. Like,
and I honestly believe no number is high enough in goal involvements for Neymar to win the Ballon d'Or without PSG winning the Champions League.
Fuck. I agree with that too. Because the Liga has such a bad, not marketing, it's viewed in such a poor way. Farmers League. So yeah, Neymar has to do it in the World Cup and in the Champions League. But my last thing with PSG is, like, I have to say for the listeners of episode 72, like, Gnat, Fabien Ruiz and Carlos Soler weren't last season at PSG, and they are there this season. So that is a great addition in midfield that gives guarantees that PSG didn't have last season. So Luis Campos, masterclass right there, in my opinion.
No, I like it, and it's amazing to me. I mean, we haven't really covered all the other wonderful games in the Champions League and the Europa League. Hell, even the Conference League had a couple good ones. But I do have to go back. You know how I mentioned Calvin Bassey, right?
Yes.
I have to go back, and I have to give a little bit of love to Richarlison, okay? Because if you're talking about somebody getting emotional, right? Calvin Bassey got emotional at the anthem. Richarlison was pretty much, let's be honest, the reason Conte and his Spurs, were able to get by Marseille. And Richarlison kind of breaking down after that. That tells you everything.
Beba had a red card too.
About the man.
Like they had, Beba got the red card, and all of a sudden, bad things.
But like Richarlison, come on, 2 goals in 5 minutes. He got it done. It was heartwarming to see after the fact. The first person he went over to was his dad. And they're head to head. They're bawling essentially. And anyone that calls Richarlison out for getting emotional about that. This is literally a life goal of his.
Yes.
This is literally what he wanted to move to Tottenham for, or to a Champions League squad for. And that was like, you put your bucket list up there and boom, he was just able to tick one off. And I honestly, I'm going to say this right now, and you may have sent some version of this previously, but I do believe Richarlison is going to be, if there's any success coming from Conte this season, if there's any trophy coming from Conte this season and Spurs, I do believe Richarlison is going to be one of the largest reasons why.
That the fuck
big part.
Fuck dudes right there. I completely agree with that. And shout out to Romero too. Romero, that Brazilian and Cuti Romero. Yes, those two, man. If there's gonna be a title, those two will have to go bold. And Harry Kane, man.
Yeah.
Harry Kane, if this is going to be the season that you're going to leave to Bayern Munich, that all the news says it, that I'd love that move to Bayern Munich, Harry Kane. You got to get a trophy, man, leaving Tottenham. And with Conte ball, this is the best chance you've ever had to get a trophy. So, and Son, man. Son, I'm expecting better stats, Son. But the consistency that he's shown in the past tells me that he's going to get those goals inevitably. But they,
absolutely.
If they had a Barella, though. Like, for me, Tottenham or a Barella away. Okay, a Barella away of guaranteeing a top 3. Guaranteeing a lot of things. So, I still expect to see a big move from Tottenham this January. I still expect
I mean, come on, Conte. Come on, the only person you can pull in is Perisic.
Well,
come on, we need oh, he's great. He's great. I'm saying, but like, come on. You've got this Italian clout. You got to get it done, man. You got to pull Barella in. You got to pull somebody else in that you want. Put that Italian stamp on it.
Bastoni, man.
Bastoni. Oh, they love Bastoni there. But Spurs look pretty good. We didn't even go into really Group G. Obviously, Erling Haaland is a flippin' robot. I don't know what else to say about Erling Haaland except that if he is supplied the way that he has been supplied so far this season, and it lasts the whole season.
Cheat code.
I don't know what else to say.
Ballon d'Or,
honestly,
that's another player too. Like, if we had like a top 3 Ballon d'Or right now playing, we put Haaland there, we put Neymar there, and maybe Messi. I'm gonna put Messi because I think Mbappe fans are gonna go crazy.
Yeah, they are.
But I really think Messi's gonna be crucial for Argentina in the World Cup. So yeah, I'm gonna say those 3.
And the only thing I'm gonna say about that City win over Sevilla, is that Sevilla, although they got a good win in La Liga over the weekend, a much needed win, this is not last year's Sevilla. Right, this is not Jules Koundé and Diego Carlos healthy, forming one of the best center back partnerships in La Liga. This is a beaten down Sevilla that did not look as good, and they were so overwhelmed by City it wasn't even funny. But Haaland, De Bruyne, and Bernardo Silva and Phil Foden in that game. It's just I don't know.
For me, the biggest win of Man City, like we often stress about, they let Gabriel Jesus go, they let Sterling go, and they let Zinchenko go. But to be honest, they still managed to keep Gundogan. They still managed to keep Bernardo Silva. And that for me is a win, because those 2 players this season, if Man City are going to win the Prem, that I believe treble will be done, those 2 are crucial for that to happen, especially in a captaincy role that Gundogan has, one of the most underrated players in the world right now. In my opinion, Gundogan, like Rodri, is not right now labeled underrated, but Calvin Phillips is on the bench if Rodri isn't performing. So, this is the scariest team of Man City.
And also, notice we haven't even mentioned Jack Grealish since the Premier League predictions podcast. I don't know where the man is. I think he's playing.
Foden is the guy. Foden is going to be the guy with Haaland, man. De Bruyne is teaching the young buck. And Foden. Foden is going to go bold with Haaland in the next 3. I think it's going to be 3 years of Haaland at Man City. And that's a lot. I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah, and it might not be yet, but I'm pretty sure Foden has more or will have more by the end of this year, Premier League goals, than Jack Grealish does. And Jack Grealish is what, like 6 years older than him? 5 years older than him? So I honestly believed that Jack Grealish, I still think there's obviously plenty of time. But yeah, the supporting cast for Manchester City needs to continue to get stronger, to have their moments. Because there will be a time at some point this season, there will be a time that Erling Haaland will not be in that 11. That De Bruyne might have to be rested, especially coming out of a World Cup, of which he plays a part in.
With Grealish, I just hope, like, one day, like, I don't know what's going to say he's a role player, because he definitely can't see himself as a role player earning the bags he's earning on a weekly basis, Jack Grealish. But I do believe if he accepts that role diminishing role in the future of Man City, I think he'll stay. I think he'll stay long term at the club. And yeah, that the image at the club, he might be good. So, but I definitely can see him returning to Aston Villa after City. I just have a feeling that might be the next move. But let's wait and see. So anything can happen. But tell us down below, community, your thoughts about the Champions League and the player that we forgot to mention. The biggest player that we didn't mention right now in this podcast. But Wonderkids, people, I have to mention here something. I said it on Off to Breton. And it was bold, right, Breton?
It was. It was very bold.
So, you guys know that I'm a big admirer since day one of Nunminj. And here's a player I'm going to say publicly, I'm going to back him the same way I did Nunminj. This kid is Antonio Silva, center-back at Benfica, 18 years old, starting next to Otamendi, then managed to. Vertonghen's not at the club anymore. Moratu's on the bench, and Lucas Verissim's going to be on the bench. Because Antonio Silva, no doubt in my mind, is the best 18-year-old defender center-back in the world right now. I am absolutely sure the maturity he has is unprecedented for an 18-year-old center-back in Portugal. The player reminds me the most is of De Ligt. Antonio Silva, not because of his size, but because of his mentality, okay? The way he reads the game, the maturity is lights off anyone at 18, people. Please remember the name, Antonio Silva.
He was a big reason they won the Youth League last season, right?
Rocco had a tough time with him, but and that showed, man. Silva won a game by him. Yeah, I agree. He's playing like he played in the Youth League in the Champions League. But it's going to be a test against Juve, and I'm dying to see what he's going to do there. Because he starts.
Absolutely, and that was my counterpoint. Yeah, that was my counterpoint to you after this. It's early season. The nothing against Maccabi Haifa, nothing against Famalicão, and they did play Boa Vista. But yes, time will tell with Antonio Silva. But that's not exactly a bad center back core that he's keeping on the bench there. They also just brought in John Brooks, who is widely seen as the most talented center back, even if Greg Berhalter doesn't rate him or call him into national team camps. So the fact that Antonio Silva,
trust.
I'm not going to go there yet. I'm not going to go there. Even beyond my American bias, I'm not going to go there and say that. I know.
It's shocking. But when I say this, people, it's not just my opinion. It's me speaking to high-level scout people that watch Silva play, and they're like, "Yeah, man, this kid." So trust.
I will say this right now. I would love to have the depth that Portugal has currently in the center back position, especially at a youth level. I would love to have a David Carmo.
Yes.
I would love to have
Gonçalo
Inácio. I would love to have an Antonio Silva coming through. We are showing signs of progress on the American side, but center back
it's very
is,
tough,
alas,
man.
It's tough.
And 2 years ago, I'd say we were screwed in the future at center back because we had aging Pep, aging Bruno Alves, and I remember saying, like, we don't have center backs. And there's even another kid that I want to give a shout, David Vinhas at Porto, young center back too, that will grow. And Diogo Leite at Union Berlin. Just hope he's gonna go bold. Just hope. But I'm not talking about center backs. I want to give a shout out to another Portuguese man conquering in Europe, and I love to see it. Fábio Silva, man. What a lone move he is doing at Anderlecht. The right move. And Wolves fans, be excited, because next season you're gonna get a very different Fábio Silva. 12 games, 7 goals at Anderlecht, and the physique, the body that he has right now, he is going bold the right way. Keep doing you, man, Fábio. Just wanted to give a shout out to another Silva. Not Antonio, Fábio Silva.
Seen more shirtless photos circulating around Fábio Silva than I would care to see over the last couple days, but I can confirm he's got a body on him. But no, Anderlecht did have I'm going in to see the Anderlecht lost to Westerlo, and I'm trying to see. Oh, Fabio Silva was in there. Okay, no, but he is definitely. It is one of those things that you look at. He made that big move. All he needed to do was play every day and work through his kinks, and unfortunately it wasn't able to happen at Wolves. Well, damn right it is going to happen at Anderlecht. It is going to happen at Belgium, and by the end of the season he's likely, I'd be surprised if he wasn't fighting for the golden boot. If Wolves doesn't call him back first.
With Ferran Jutgla. I think, or it's Volson, Ferran Jutgla, and Fabio Silva for the golden boot in the Belgium league. In my opinion,
you got five for Ferran right now. Fabio Silva with 4, and Volson I think has 4 as well. And it's fun. It's a good one. It's a good situation for him to be in, and we'll see if it continues. But if you're going to shout out, I mean, Fabio Silva is a lot older than these two kids that I'm going to shout out. We got to go down. I told people during the Champions League, here at FC Wonderkid, we watch the Youth League just as much as we watch the Champions League. Maybe that's a little bit of an exaggeration, because the next competition stars are obviously showing out, like Antonio Silva last year for Benfica. Well, right now, there are 2 names I'm going to throw out there. Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal has had himself one ridiculous week, okay? Yes! We were talking last podcast about him getting to chop it up with Gavi, with Pedri, with Lewandowski, training in the first team. And then before you know it, this kid becomes, I believe, the youngest person in Barcelona history, which says a lot, to make his debut in the UEFA Youth League.
Yes!
I honestly think he's going to be one that's going to be fast-tracked over time. This is not another Ricky Puig. This is a guy that you're going to want to watch. He still needs to fill out. He still needs to fill out. There's no doubt about it. He's still on a young guy's body, but the UEFA Youth League is going to be that place for him to do so. And I'm really, really excited to see that. The other guy I have to name in the UEFA Youth League, Kylian Mbappe, obviously is scoring a whole bunch of goals. But guess what, guys? He's got a brother. And his brother, who's also, I believe, 15 years old, maybe 16, just debuted in the UEFA Youth League. Debuted in the UEFA Youth League for PSG. And no, nobody was telling, no coach was told that they have to debut him in the Youth League. But Ethan Mbappe is a name you're going to have to watch. But to be honest, if you're going to be following PSG, stick to watching Warren Zaire-Emery, because he was amazing in their first game. And why he's playing UEFA Youth League, I don't know, because I think he's good enough for the first team. But it's just an added football bonus for all of us to be able to watch him. So those were my 2 Wonderkid shout-outs that I had to throw out there.
Mentioning Zaire-Emery, people, that is definitely a name that you have to remember in the near future for PSG and for France. Like, he's going to be in that team. And what, like, PSG going to win the Youth League?
They could. I mean, with Zaire Emery running the show, but Zaire Emery was running the show last year.
And they had Xavi Simons, too, like, last year. So, but I'm going to give a shout to, my last shout is going to be a Portuguese one. So, Carlos Borges, what are you doing at Man City, man? How did you get there? And how you're performing so well, okay? He reminds me a lot of Rony Lopes, too. A Portuguese player that was outside and was balling out. And Man City, Carlos Borges, had 3 goals and an assist against Sevilla. What a menace he was. And I want to see Guardiola trusting Carlos Borges with Bernardo Silva. Bora lá, Portugal! Portugal is at Man City, even in the Youth League. We're just so great, man. Bora, Portugal! Tumbo.
Yeah. And Carlos Borges has been doing it. This is the 2nd season running that he is just off to a hot start. And he's literally making it probably pretty hard for Pep Guardiola to not look and see him. He's still pretty raw, but he has intangibles that there actually are not currently in City's squad. So for him to actually see some time is not out of the realm of possibility, especially when you take into account Carabao Cup an FA Cup that's coming up. So a wonderful shout out. I've got one more shout out to go back to the Champions League because I have to say it. Okay, Dortmund looked terrible over the weekend, but midweek they looked pretty good in the Champions League. And I got to give a shout out to 19-year-old Gio Reyna because frankly, it has been the most. I don't care if he's American. I don't care if he's I don't care if he's from Luxembourg. I don't care where he's from. If you've gone through what Gio Reyna has gone through in terms of the amount of injuries and the amount of setbacks and the amount of head fakes when it comes to him coming back to health and to playing, for him to get that 45 minutes of time and to put 2 assists and I believe become maybe one of the first teenagers for Dortmund to ever put 2 assists. Definitely the first American to ever put 2 assists on the board in the Champions League. That tells you all you need to know. And I'm happy to see him playing back. I'm going to continue to do this because I really want to see him remain healthy. But we're all happier to see Gio Reyna playing and getting back to his best, and long may it continue.
And you should definitely, with the World Cup knocking, man. You hope you have a Pulisic too, but a Gio Reyna injury-free. Because if Gio Reyna is injury-free, he's a top 5 U.S. men's national team player. Like, in my opinion. Like, Weston McKennie, Pulisic, higher. So, that shows the importance he has for the U.S. So, people, if you're listening until now, do not forget to like this video and follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and on YouTube. And comment down below your bold predictions. Thank you for listening until now to episode 72. And thank you, community, for going bold in another podcast with us. Thank you.